As we've gone through this course so far, we've seen text conversations, audio calls, and video calls. But there's one important thing that I want you to keep in mind, which I've mentioned a little bit. These different types of calls are not necessarily different things. The fact is, once you initiate one of these connections, it's seamless to switch between them. Keep in mind, what we're talking about here will work the same for one-on-one conversations or group conversations. I'm going to start with a text conversation. And I'm using this Stewart account as an example, but as we saw before, Garrick is going to answer this call. And I want to start with a simple text conversation. So I could point at the icon and choose the instant message button, or I could right-click on his name and choose Send IM. So let's do that. I'm just going to send a quick text message. And in a moment, he'll reply normally here in this conversation. Okay, so we're having a text conversation here, but he suggested that we switch over to video, which we can do very easily. So I'll just say OK, and then I'll look at the controls we have down at the bottom of the screen. I have my camera and my audio controls, so I can quickly switch from this text conversation into one of those other types of calls. So I'm going to click on the camera button. I see the preview from my camera. I'll hit Start My Video. And now he will receive an invitation to join me in a video call. So until he answers, I'll hear this little chime, and in a moment he'll answer and we'll see him here. Hey, Garrick, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. So there it is. There's your video. It took a moment for that to connect. Excellent. So that's it. We were in a text conversation and we could very quickly jump over to an audio conversation. And from here, I could switch to an audio call. All I would need to do is disable the video. So if I go down to the bottom of the window to these controls and I hit Stop My Video, after a moment, now Garrick cannot see my video. And if he wanted to, he could turn off his video. So we can jump between these different types of calls. So now I want to see all this happen from the other point of view. So Garrick, let's end this call. And we're going to start a video call, but we'll start in a text conversation and then we'll switch over to a video call. Is that good?
Okay. Yep. Sounds good.
All right. So I'm going to hang up here just by hitting the red button. Now we were in a video call, but because we started in a text conversation, that text conversation window is still open here. So let me type another message here. So I'll type a quick message here asking Garrick to invite me to an audio call. And this is what it looks like when you start in a text conversation, but the other person wants to switch to audio or video. I get this notification here. I'll hit answer the call. And now we're back in an audio call. Hey, Garrick.
Hey, Nick.
All right. So far, so good. Now, because we started in a text conversation, we switched to the audio call. I still have the text conversation over here on the sidebar on the left. You may or may not see that. You can always go to this button here near the bottom left corner, click on that to open or close that panel. So even if you're in an audio or a video conversation, you can always jump into some additional text chat as well. And that's great for sending links to websites or any other side questions that you might have for that conversation. And I think that's it. Thanks again for helping me out, Garrick.
No problem.
So I'm going to end the call just by hitting this button, the red button down at the bottom of the window. And that's it. There are really no boundaries separating text conversations from audio conversations or video calls. You should feel free to fly between these different modes whenever you want. As we get into file and screen sharing in another movie, we'll build on this even more.